The early 1990s in the NO kicked off the city's musical independence with the start of 3 powerful record labels that changed New Orleans and 2 of which changed the world. No Limit started in 1991, while Cash Money and Big Boy Records both started out in 1992. Although they were all out the gate around the same time, it was Big Boy Records who surpassed them all and was years ahead of its time. Where Baby and Slim were the better hustlers, they were lacking business sense. Where Master P had the business sense, he didn't have Beats by the Pound yet. But Big Boy Records had it all, and they were off the porch as the NO's first well-rounded rap record label. They were the first out of the 3 to sell 100,000 units from one artist, and in 1992, while Baby and Slim were selling Kilo G's album out of the trunk of their car, Big Boy Records were already moving thousands of units through barcodes. Big Boy Records was established in 1992 by owner Charles Big Boy Temple and his producer Leroy Precise Edwards, and their first signee was a local rapper by the name of Sporty T, who was formerly a member of the rap group The Ninja Crew.
I be from the Cali-O by my boy Lil Bruce, another uptown brother with all the juice.
The label's first release was Sporty T's Sporty Talkin' Sporty, which was a bounce record that only sold 4,000 copies. Not a lot, but was enough to know they were on the right track. By mid-1992, the label began their takeover by seeking out and signing the city's best talent, and their second stop was the 17th Ward, where they signed a talented young group by the name of Partners in Crime.
Up early in the morning, I jump Shaiba.
Partners in Crime, or PNC, is a talented duo from Holly Grove, New Orleans, and in 1994 took Big Boy Records to new heights with the release of their first single titled Let the Good Times Roll.
The brother used to have fun, now in 94, everybody wants to throw the gun.
Partners in Crime had opened the gates to the label's newest venture, a West Bank artist by the name of G Slim.
What's up, J-Dawg? Oh, I'm at the house, man.
By this time, Big Boy and Precise had become sophomores in the game, and the growth was showing in their numbers. In mid-1994, they released G Slim's debut album titled Fours, Deuces, and Trays, which sold 200,000 plus copies, a strong indication they were here to stay. In June 1994, the label would make their best move yet, after signing a recently returned war veteran by the name of Mystikal.
Rock and roll ya, I control ya, I can hold ya, lock and load 'em.
The 12th Ward native had recently been a part of KLC's Parkway Pumpin' Records as Mystikal Mike, but dropped the mic when he signed with Big Boy, a powerful merger of talent and experience. And on June 14, 1994, they made a major statement to the world with the release of Mystikal's debut album self-titled Mystikal.
Y'all better get ready to rumble. Got around like a tumble.
Mystikal, the album, sold 300,000 plus units and was the label's first major success. All through the 1990s, Big Boy Records led the bouncing music hip-hop industry in New Orleans, but by 1995, the Williams brothers had evolved into powerful businessmen themselves, with one great advantage: they could hustle.
Too many player hates against in this world. That's why we ride through this world with the black girl.
As hustlers, if you're gonna take over the game, the first order of business is to get rid of any competition, and as far as Cash Money was concerned, Big Boy Records was in the way. By 1995, the labels were at verbal war that started after Mystikal said,
Never go bounce, never go.
That line was a diss to a song and dance that was created by Cash Money signed artist UNLV, and was the start of the label's verbal conflict with each other. Fortunately, the beef stayed in the studios and on records and never spilled into some real street shit. A small pond with 2 big fish at war would have weighed in heavy on the city. In 1995, Big Boy Records signed another 17th Ward native by the name of Fiend.
Oh, follow me. Word on the street, I got a quarter key.
On November 14, 1995, Fiend released his debut album titled I Won't Be Denied on Big Boy Records, which gave Fiend instant notoriety and a hungry fan base that wanted more.
Wanted to be down like Brandy in the worst way. Cash rules everything around me since the first day.
On December 17, 1995, Big Boy Records released the Ghetto Twins' debut album titled Surrounded by Criminals, which found minor success, making it to number 37 on the top R&B hip-hop albums chart and number 48 on the Heat Seekers Billboard chart in 1996.
The Ghetto Twins cracking bones like we did up in our last song.
At the time of Big Boy Records' climb to industry success, their close friend and associate Tim Smooth had signed with Rap-A-Lot Records and couldn't physically participate in Big Boy's ventures, but still played a major role within the boot camp clique.
It's strictly representation of the boot camp.
He was a mentor and partial ghostwriter for Mystikal and even had a major following of his own.
Everywhere you look around, making you lay it down.
With all the right components and half the talent in the city, Big Boy Records should have had backing from a major distributor long before Cash Money, but sources say owner Chuck Temple was blacked out from the majors due to his affiliation with a well-known organization that the industry wanted nothing to do with at the time. To make matters worse, in 1995, the label's prized possession, Mystikal, left the label to heighten his career with Jive Records, and by 1996 had found a home at No Limit Records.
I'm the lightning in bad weather. I'm that bitch on that bitch on your girlfriend.
On October 13, 1996, one of the label's first artists, G Slim, was gunned down at 1:30 in the PM while walking out of the Christopher Holmes project. He was hit one time in the back and was rushed off to Charity Hospital, where his departure was announced at 2:14 PM. Just a few weeks before his departure, his mother feared the worst when she discovered he was getting out of his contract with Big Boy Records and was on his way to the majors with Priority Records. Ironically, his life was stolen on the same day he had faxed Big Boy the paperwork for his release. Rest in peace, G Slim.
I got more juice. I'm hitting the things, now my Chevy's getting loose.
By 1997, owner Charles Temple and longtime producer and friend Precise had fell out over personal reasons, which caused a split between the label, and through his connection with Mystikal, Fiend decided to join the No Limit family.
I'm from the city where they ride around town.
Precise and Ghetto Twins joined Tim Smoot over at Rap-A-Lot Records, and the rest of the roster either stayed with the label or went independent.
Scrape my elbow, jump in the fence, creepy through the grass, camouflage looking for them.
By this time, Cash Money Records had changed their whole lineup, from bounce rappers to hot boys and big timers, and they were now recognized as New Orleans' fastest growing record label. With everything in order, Cash Money signed a $30 million pressing and distribution deal with a $3 million advance with Universal Records, which pretty much closed the book on the Big Boy versus Cash Money situation.
Clean up your dirty money to good money, cause legal money lasts longer than drug money.
Despite the history between the first two labels, it was No Limit Records who was first out the gate on a national and international level, coming from the NO's rap game. Master P and his band of soldiers had already changed the game, broken records, and made movies years before the rest of them, and was now the only opposition to Cash Money.
Definitely, I gotta take my hat off to Cash Money. Calio Magnolia.
One of the most interesting stories after leaving Big Boy Records was Sporty T's. Sporty T released at least 10 albums before leaving, and sources say he tried his hand with Cash Money Records for a short period of time, but it didn't work out between him and the Birdman, so he left and partnered up with Cash Money's rival, No Limit Records. Although Sporty T never signed with No Limit, his new venture was being backed by Master P.
This the one they call Woody. Stop saying nothing changed.
Sporty T started a campaign that took major shots at the Cash Money camp, mainly Juvenile and Birdman.
I'm on top handling business. You want to beef? Bitch, you ain't heard I was in it.
Sporty T continued his reign, but never got a response from a Cash Money member. A few years after it all died down, a New Orleans news report said unknown gunman toting an AK-47 opened fire on the exterior of a trailer home in Gentilly, killing a former rapper who was sleeping inside. The rapper was Sporty T.
Man, welcome to New Orleans, because Big Boy Records is back in the building.
There's always the question of what if Big Boy Records would have received the major distribution and backing from the music biz. Maybe Mystikal, Fiend, and G Slim would have never left, and the label would have been the third national major music conglomerate coming from the NO. But instead, on Monday, September 21st, 2015, due to health complications, the label's executive had seen his last sunrise. R.I.P. Charles Big Boy Temple. Although Big Boy Records never became a national household name, it's definitely a major part of the city's musical independence, and just like the labels, the legendary producer DJ Precise will always shine as one of the pioneering top 3 music producers coming out of the NO. Despite the friction between the labels, many of the artists have put their differences aside, and some even work together. BG and Soulja Slim had merged companies and was about to take off, while Mystikal, who was originally signed to Big Boy, then No Limit, ended up siding with his original rivals, Cash Money Records.
Mystikal, what's poppin'? Welcome to the team.
Although Cash Money and No Limit are still relevant in the game, neither of them are still with their original teams, and most of the artists have left the game. After several years as oppositions, Juvenile and Birdman recently began to make moves once again.
I pull up in that 240 on the dash.
Although there's still many talented artists coming out of the NO, there's not another label to do it like the Founding Three. But just like the river, talent flows through the city like water and continues to stay relevant in the music biz.